binge-worthy. Once again, Mr. Binge is going to tell us what we should binge watch when we have the time. You can catch him here on Al in the Afternoon and on Binge-worthy TV on Facebook.
Go to Binge-worthy, Mr. Binge TV Guru on the Facebook page. It is the greatest website you're ever going to find. You have plenty to discuss with family and friends if you're having a party or anything like that. I've got him, Louis Binge. Mr. Binge, thanks for being on the program, my friend.
Thrilled to be here. It's always Al, and I think we have a good category today.
I was going to ask you for the inspiration on this. Last week, we had finished up, comedians that had done the Ed Sullivan Show. We wrapped that up, and I asked you if you had something good coming up. You said, absolutely. I like this one. It could get us kicked off the Facebook thing, so I'm interested in that. But how did you come up with this category?
Well, I was thinking about some different actors, especially from the olden days that we grew up with on the sitcoms, that were outstanding. And I think it was the Powells from Gilligan's Island.
Yeah.
And somebody said online, it's funny they didn't have their own show. They would have been, the two of them could have had their own show about the Powells. And I agree with that. And it made me think, wonder how many would have been successful if they would have had a spin-off show.
I don't know about the Powells. I found them arrogant, and it could have been funny to see what they do with their money. Ginger or Mariana would have loved to find out more about them and their lives. That I would have went with that.
Well, those would have been good too. So anyway, the process started, and I started thinking about people I liked and didn't like, and thought, could they had a spinoff? Kind of like Gomer Pyle did with Andy Mayberry. It's like, well, it could happen. And so I thought, let's look at this, and between the two of us, let's figure out if we think they could have had a successful career or not.
I didn't look. I don't know if Gomer Pyle comes over. That's a great one. So he's on the Andy Griffith Show. He creates a character that's just funny enough. They send him off to the army, and he does that whole Gomer Pyle thing. And I love that show. You're absolutely correct. That was a good one. Okay, this is a great category. And what I mean about getting kicked off the Facebook thing, because you're used to being kicked off. I'm not. I like Facebook. But all this musical stuff, every time that music plays on this Zoom thing, I get a thing saying our video is halted. And then about 5 minutes later, MGM Universal or somebody releases the rights to that. We put this thing on the air. Like somehow me playing Ed Sullivan from 1962 with Chuck Berry on it, somehow somebody's losing some cash somewhere or something.
Well, I don't know this, but I think the music's what kicks it.
Oh.
It's all because music is copyrighted more than just all these clips.
Yes.
So maybe that's it. And it's just me guessing, but that would make sense.
But these guys, they must have somebody. Obviously, a computer finds it. Now maybe they're watching Al in the Afternoon. I don't know, but they get it. The computer catches, hey, that's our song, and there's got to be some knucklehead somewhere in California going, oh, what do I care? Clear. Because always 5 minutes later, it's clear. It's like, whatever. You played 30 seconds of it. Thank you for the promotion, right? But let's get into this. I love this idea. So 60s sitcom character actors.
Yep.
Could they have had their own show?
Yes.
Let's discuss. I like the first one right out of the bat. Here we go, Mr. Haney.
If you need anything for the house, I won't. You might. All it said was I sold you a house, and that's what you got, a house. It's just what you need.
Well, it so happens that I'm planting tomatoes.
Mr. Douglas, you just had another lucky day.
Mr. Haney, the greatest salesman of all time. And I hadn't thought about it. You know what? I honestly think that he could have made a great show on his own, just selling his wares, coming across people. I think there could have been a show there.
I would have watched it. Because you could go 1,000, like you said, 1,000 different ways on how he swindles people every day.
Yeah.
And I think it'd be hysterical. So yes, I would watch Mr. Haney's show.
So let me ask you this, because you're a bright man. Why not? The TV producers didn't see it.
Why they didn't? I don't have any idea.
The 60s, they didn't do that much.
It makes you wonder why not. It's right, because when they're on a hit show and they're a popular character, maybe it was all in negotiations, or maybe nobody did to write it. Writing is 3/4 of it. I know when they did Gomer Pyle, it had some of the same writers that were on Andy and Mayberry, and they spun off. Maybe the people doing, I'm guessing with all this, maybe the people doing Green Acres had no desire to do a spinoff. I don't know.
You're doing well enough and thinking, let's just keep doing what we're doing. This next one hits me the opposite way. Let's talk about him.
What is he doing in the uniform, General Hogan? Please. Oh, you went too far. I must report this. It would be worth my life if I do not report this.
It's only until tomorrow, and he's going to take it off again. After he steals the tank from the Panzer Division. And brings it here into the barracks.
Oh, I see nothing. I was not here. I did not even get up this morning.
Sergeant Schultz. Mr. Binge, one of my favorite character actors of all time, that guy in that role. I absolutely love Sergeant Schultz, but I don't think he could have held up on its own unless it was another how he acted with his Nazi buddies, you know, when he wasn't with the guys in the concentration. I don't know where that character could go because it was so the topic itself, how they made that much fun of Nazi Germany was hard to believe.
Well,
I think that was a toughie.
That and the fact, I think I'm glad he didn't do a spinoff because he would have been another one of those character actors with dynamite, or I mean, he'd have to say that catchphrase 400 times during that half hour, more than he did. And he was a great character. I liked him a lot. But no, we're in agreement. He should not have had his own series, and thank God he didn't.
The only thing it would have been nice to see is his character and how he was interacting with the Nazis, you know, talking about the guys back in the concentration camp, you know, and having that. I think there could have been at least some shows about it that he could have done well, but I'm kind of glad he did not.
I am too. And you know, with that show, I heard they said, how could they represent concentration camps with all the things that happened during World War II? And their comeback was, it wasn't a concentration camp. It was a prisoner of war camp.
Which is fair enough. I guess saying the topic to make a comedy out of that is very tough. The next one you could see coming once you just love the intro itself. You could see where the comedy writes itself. I want to get your opinion. You'll start this one off. Could they have gone elsewhere?
What you cooking, Granny?
Done cooked and cool. That's my spring tonic.
Got a dandy head on it this year. How come you cooked up such a big batch? You fixing to tonic the whole town of Beverly Hills?
That's just a start. Then I'm going to commence on the rest of the country.
Everybody?
No, just the Democrats and the Republicans.
You need tonic, do they?
Why, kid, they is in such bad shape. One party can't walk and the other one can't even stand up.
Who told you that?
They did. I've been watching the TV. The Republicans claim that the Democrats is dragging their feet. And the Democrats come back and say that the Republicans ain't got a leg to stand on.
Yeah, I presume on this bit you mean Granny.
Granny, that's correct.
Your thoughts? I'm letting you hit it first. I'm leading this thing.
The Beverly Hillbillies to me was an interesting show because I can honestly say there wasn't a character that I liked more than just a short amount of time. Yep. That it was a good thing they had so many characters because I don't think any of them could have carried the show by themselves with their character, including Granny, obviously. So no, she should never have had a show. And I don't think any of them could stand alone without the whole cast in there.
See, and I'm glad I let you go first because I would have to agree with you on most all of that. The characters, because they were thin as far as characteristics of them, Jethro and, you know, you can only be so hillbilly for so long. And it didn't carry the banker guy, greedy banker guy. You know, it just was, everybody was thin, but they had enough thinness around them and as a group. You could sit through a half hour and giggle about this and a little bit about that. And I didn't mind the show. It wasn't one of my favorites. I don't think she could have carried it either.
This was probably way down on my list, even then, of shows that I liked during that time. But you hit the nail on the head. There were funny bits within once in a while. But to say it was a great comedy, I think it'd be a stretch. Therefore, Granny should not have had her own show.
All right, there we go. All right, we've got two there. We're up with our next one, Uncle Arthur.
Why didn't you stop?
You told me it was all automatic.
You told me you knew how to drive.
So I'm a little rusty.
A little?
Oh, Sammy, it's no use. I've just gotta fly. It's in my blood. When I'm up there in that big blue yonder, I feel like Superman.
Oh, my stars.
Uncle Arthur from Bewitched. And what's funny is, you know what? Because Bewitched did so well, and hell, how many husbands did you have? 2 or 3 Darrens in the
two,
like that?
just 2, yeah.
All right. because it was going so well, I don't have a problem that they'd have a guy version of that, if you will, Uncle Arthur doing it from the guy's side, being a witch. I think he could have stand. I think he was good. I liked him he did a lot of stuff. I think it could have worked.
And he had several TV series pilots that didn't make it, but not playing this character. I think if he would have played Uncle Arthur, I think it would have been a success. Now, Bewitched, like we were just talking about Beverly Hillbillies, not my favorite show, but there were some funny bits in, and he was funny. So I think he could have carried the show with Uncle Arthur and made it good. So I would vote yes. He should have had his own show.
You and I are rock solid right here.
Yeah,
We're going to run into one that you started this whole thing off with, but I got to go to break first. What we're doing is the 60s comedy character actors. Could they have done their own bit? Your comments, if you want to add anything to the show, Al at alintheafternoon.com, or go to Al in the Afternoon Facebook page after this.
I can add a lot more to this list. I can add a lot more to this list if you like it. I just didn't, because I didn't know how far we want to go.
I'm liking it. I think you've got decades here. We go to the 70s and stuff. I think this is good stuff. It's easy to chat about. Makes people think about their favorite characters. This is right up there, buddy.
It's kind of hard to find. It took quite a while to find. There's some I liked. I couldn't find clips from anything about the character that would highlight them. That wasn't highlighting the star. So. But yeah, we could do decades of this.
Floyd the Barber, Hank Kimball, the Addams Family. Are you kidding me? We got great ones coming up. We won't get to this week. I'm glad we're going to end with the Howells before we go any further. All right, so we'll have what do we got? 7 minutes to do it. If we don't want to get the Floyd the Barber and hang on to that one, let's really cover Gilligan's Island. All right.
Okay.
All right, buddy.
Alligator. L, also in alligator. But it's not alligator. It's Al in the Afternoon.
And we are with none other than Mr. Binge, TV Guru. Find him on the Facebook thing. He's Mr. Binge, TV Guru, the writer. You'll find a fabulous list of all these things going on. And I'm loving this list. 60s sitcom character actors, their bits, could they have held their own as the spinoff? This is great stuff. You started talking about the Powells, and we're going to end this bit with the Powells. You're going to have to convince me of this, Mr. Binge. Lewis, here is our last bit for the day.
Look at those classic features, that bone structure.
There's no doubt about it. He must come from a fine family.
And even when he grunts, detect just a trace of Harvard.
Breeding will tell. You know, dear, even if you'd been born an ape, you'd still be a howl. A bit hairy, but a howl. Oh, the poor dear. He must be hungry. Here you are. Now we'll see where he comes from. If he eats with a fork in his left hand, that indicates a European background. If in his right, he's American.
Heavens, a Yale man.
Thank you.
The Howls on, of course, Gilligan's Island. Mr. Binge, you're going to have to tell me that those two could handle a show. Go ahead. Give me your pitch on it, because I'm going to be honest. This is a stretch.
You don't see it? Well, I see it, because I think the two of them, anybody in this list, could carry a show. Kind of like on Three's Company, the landlord and his wife, when they played off each other. If they got some supporting characters to play with them, I think they could be really funny. And their chemistry with each other was great. And they're a couple, which makes them able to play off each other. Where a lot of these, like Schultz and stuff, they stand alone too much. There's no way to tie anybody in with them.
About the only way I could get into this, sir, is if it was a prequel sort of thing. If somehow we've got to see Lovey and them guys, their married life, how they got to know everybody, and then at the end, the last show is how they got on the boat. That would probably be about the only reason I could do it.
Well, there you go. You got it. You got the script ready. Let's get going.
But
Send that to Hollywood. I think
what I'm saying? That would be the prequel to these people. How do you end up with these knuckleheads all in the same boat? The Howells brought enough luggage to last 3 years on television, never wear the same thing. Ginger was the same thing. Or Marianne. I know Ginger had all the clothes you could ever want. And then I just got to get to a point somewhere. How come all these other actors were being able to get on this island, like this monkey guy, ape guy, and get off, and these guys are staying there?
Yeah, and like you just said, every week they had a guest. Every week somebody else came on the island. There wasn't always a 7 of them. There was always other people there with them.
And so it was like in a major traffic lane or something. Somehow, and the professor could make a radio out of a coconut, but he can't make a boat. Maybe I'm missing something.
And I do think the two of us are probably putting way too much information required for the sitcom that was as ridiculous as this sitcom was.
But it flew. I can say it was way popular back in its day. I mean, and that probably hurt Gilligan himself. I don't think he really played much after that, did he?
No. And the critics panned this. Critics absolutely hated it, and the public loved it. Yeah. So it was kind of the first part of the separation on television, where they were making shows they didn't care if the critics liked it, because the public did.
But did any of these actors really go anywhere after that? The skipper didn't. You just don't see any of them having done anything, because they got, in 3 years, so typecast, I believe.
That's not true. That's not true. Every one of them appeared on Love Boat.
Oh. Yes, the old Love Boat. Yes,
Marianne had okay career, and Ginger did a few movies. She was in Looker, I know that, in the late 70s. But no, I don't think anybody did too much.
For as hot as they were, is the point. For 3 years, that's everybody knew who they were, and from that moment on, they just couldn't get anything else afterwards. It's just sad. But a lot of the
only real star that came on the show as a star was Mr. Powell, Jim Hackett. He had a distinguished career before he came on, including on Rebel Without a Cause as James Dean's father. Of course, he was Mr. Magoo. He had a very wide, broad, successful career. And he was really the only major star that started out that way. A little bit Gilligan with being that TV show he did before, whatever that was called.
But, I remember. But what's funny about it is Gilligan and him were the only two you knew could be funny going in. The rest you kind of learned from it, and they were great. I don't know who ended up being the director, or the guy who found these guys in there, the casting director, but they did a great job, because they all played off each other very well.
Well, yeah, and Ginger was supposed to be originally played by oh gosh, now I'm gonna forget.
Raquel Welch.
Was it Raquel Welch?
No, I threw that out there because I loved her back.
That's in the good. Day. No, who was the woman that was like Marilyn Monroe but got killed?
Marilyn Monroe.
No, well, Marilyn Monroe fit that category. Never mind. We'll talk about that next week.
Fair enough. We got a great list here coming up. I want to throw it out. You've got Floyd the Barber. I can't wait to discuss that. You got Green Acres, The Addams Family, Eddie Haskell. A lot of great names coming up. Mr. Binge, well done on this list, my friend. So let me ask you this. Where can somebody join Mr. Binge and get these lists and follow along if they care to?
If they go to Mr. Binge TV Guru on Facebook, there's two of them. The one to go to is one that says writer. I don't know why it says writer, but that's the one to go to. And I redid redesigned the website. So that's a good place to go if you want to binge a movie. And Al, did you notice on Mr. Binge TV Guru Facebook page, I even did a logo for this actual segment we're doing today.
I looked at him like, really? What did he? I was going to chat with you about it. I'm excited about that for the new logo. But let me ask you this: what is the website address? Then where do we find the website?
The easiest way is to go to the Facebook first, and then it takes you to Mr. Binge TV. I think it's just under Mr. Binge TV Guru. Let me look here. Real quick, 1 second. Oh no, I can't. That's not up. But
fair enough. Well, we've got to fly. I'm out of time. Binge. We catch you next week, my friend.
Thank you. Fun as always.
Welcome back to the Dog Show.